Hey, good morning. Good morning. This morning we will do a beautiful new live with you. A live class, a soul care live class. And this will be with Lisa Riesner. Hey Lisa, going to invite you. Yes, there you are. Good morning. This morning, hey, we are welcoming Lisa Riesner.
Hello.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Today is our new live soul care class, and I am so happy and excited to be welcoming you here as well, you are such a beautiful being and such a you have so many things that I can tell about you. There are so many beautiful, uh, special, I don't know, special gifts that you kind of carry around in this lifetime. And I would love to give you this warm welcome by sharing what it is that you do so that everybody listening now or after today knows a bit on where to find you, what you do. Um, is it okay with you?
That is so okay. Thank you for inviting me to today in the early morning. Um, I live in Berlin and I am an actress for film and theater. I would say a newcomer because I studied for 4 years.
Mhm.
Here in Berlin, a method that's called Chekhov technique. That is spending a lot of time on imagination and fantasy and how to use it for acting. Um, and I'm a coach, a life coach, especially right now concerned a lot about women and men
Mhm.
and their relationship, but also visions and dreams. And I'm helping people to kind of that are maybe a bit unhappy with where they stand to to get to the true vocation.
Yes, and I
Um,
just sorry that I interrupt you, but I just wanted to say how I don't know if you are aware of this, but I just want to point it out to everybody listening. It is actually really it's really rare the things that you offer in this sense. Like you told me that you decided to move your adventures after your studies to become an actress, right? And move your adventures to Berlin now that you live there. But you've also kind of shared how you give these workshops on acting and trust and playfulness. And of course, I would love for you to tell more about it. But I just wanted to say to everybody listening and to you that I'm really glad that you get to be in this path of mine and how special it is what you offer people. I think it's really beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much. I feel really honored. Yeah, and I can say the same about you. We kind of, because I'm also doing this conscious conversation, which is a project that kind of happened in the Corona times where I meet people over Insta Live from all over the world, and we're talking about what makes the heart melt, kind of. And I asked you, and that's where we met. And I'm so happy that we can turn it around now. Yeah,
Yeah.
and exactly as you said, I'm doing a lot of workshops around theater and playfulness and group and trust because to be playful, to become playful with yourself and with others, and playfulness has a lot to do with looseness also.
Mm.
But you need to trust. You need to trust yourself and you need to trust your body. And you need to trust your mind and your psyche. And group can help a lot in this because we are humans and we are social. And a lot of insecurities you might have on your own in a group, you can overcome.
Yeah.
And that is so touching for me to see when I work with people. And yeah, yeah, and I'm excited to also maybe go a bit into the into the experience
To
at
the
some
place.
point. Yeah.
Yes, well, thank you so much for already like saying all these beautiful things about you. I just wanted to kind of add there that you work internationally so that you can help as many people out there as possible, and that people can find you on your beautiful website. So that might be something to also say at the end of today. But yeah, I would love to kind of hear from you, or maybe ask you like, when we get into today's topic, it's what is it that you like about it? Because for me it means today's topic is kind of coming back to zero, and I would love to hear from you what it means to you.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. I was so happy when we chose like to talk about coming back to zero. Um, so for me, it means mm, so often during the day or during our life, we get a lot of input,
Hmm.
right? And what happens is, I can say maybe first physically that we tension a lot. We tension more and more and more. And what happens with the psyche then is we get less flexible. We get, or flexible, we get less open, or we get, mm, we're like saying yes, for example, becomes very difficult because we're already so full. And then to have a full yes for something, and to say, yes, I would like to do that, becomes hard.
Yeah.
So coming back to zero is a theory for me, or is a life concept, just to, for a moment, release everything. And that can be physical once. So what I'm doing, for example, every day is to lay down on my floor and to let everything go for 5 minutes. So imagine right now, especially in Corona times, we're in survival mode. Many of us, often. So we're like, okay, constantly our mind is ticking. So
Yeah.
even to make the way to the floor can be super challenging. So when I'm coaching people, for example, and they come to me and they're in the survival mode, I'm going through it with them. So I'm guiding them on the floor because for them they just can't lay down for a second because they think they don't have the time for it. Yeah,
Hmm.
maybe when they go to sleep, but not just like that. So that will be the physical part, and it just brings you back to your parasympathicus, like to the place in your brain where you're relaxed and everything is fine. And
Yeah.
from there, you work so differently, and you have the patience and the passion to sit down and reflect on things. You can have fun, you can have a good conversation. That's the one part. And the other part is of coming back to zero is actually the mind. Um, so we're also going to go into it because I'm going to show you a bit like a little acting practice. But it literally means to throw out everything that is there right now. Like you might think, oh, I need to buy some coffee for breakfast. I don't have coffee at home, or you might be really struggled by the day you have in front of you, or by a problem you have. So what means coming back to zero is literally like throwing all of this out.
Hmm.
So you can be present in that very moment. And that is something like deleting the spirit for a moment, or not deleting it, but kind of taking off everything that doesn't suit you. And what I love about acting is that it's because coming back to zero is something I found in martial arts and then in acting. But what I love about acting is that it combines the physics, so it combines the body, the soul, the spirit, and the mind. And that's what I love about it. It's like it's so full of spirit. And I think that can be a key for many people out there that are struggling, for example, with depression, or that are struggling with yeah, being maybe too sleepy during the day, or being kind of blocked with their life force, because using the spirit in that way, like by acting, jumping into one thing, into another thing, and staying present, like not being, yeah, out of your mind by other thoughts you're having, is beautiful and makes you so vivid, so alive.
Wow. I think, you know, it sounds so beautiful. I'm really like listening with like ears on, meaning that I think it's so special to hear from you, from your experience. I really see you as an expert in this, and I really think it's amazing to hear all your knowledge about the holistic view, kind of the mind, the spirit, the well, the spirit, soul, and the body. How that is you as a being. I love to look at people or at spirits or souls like that, and it really helps. So I kind of recognize that part in the work that I do, as a therapist and a coach. But I hear something, an extra kind of element on it in the work that you do, because I think the difference is, if I put this right, just correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like there's a bit of a difference, or more of an add-on when it comes to playing these different roles, being an actress. You kind of need to might become really good at coming back to zero in order to kind of stay alert and awake, and in order to really shift into these different roles every time without losing who you are. Do I understand this right?
Yes, that's true. And I would call it, or we are calling it actually, you're acting from your higher self. Like we are often imagining there's this big Lisa and behind me, or this big Feline behind you, and that so I'm jumping into something, like into a certain emotion, might be sadness, or into a character, or into a situation of that character. Like for example, he's telling, it was a lot. I couldn't really concentrate. And then your higher self is kind of directing that. And that's why you could switch easily in, and this is the end of the story. And then you're kind of switching the atmospheres or the emotions very quickly, but this is kind of guided by your higher self, and this is what we're saying. And this is also a lot of practice,
Mm.
um, presence, and it's like you're guiding a boat, or you are driving the car.
Mhm.
Um, it there is a lot of ease by it, and it comes quite natural, but also a certain kind of presence, where it's not that we feel a lot when we act, but more that we kind of creating constantly so that the audience can feel.
Wow. Yeah, this is so beautiful. I think it's so beautiful that the what I never realized, maybe, but realize now, that is as an actress, you're as young as you start acting, of course, but you're pretty. Those people are really conscious and really awake. With those people, I mean, you now understanding you better, explaining this, but also all these other beautiful actors and actresses. They are super conscious, but I would also love to kind of add there is that I understand that everybody is really aware on giving value and serving the audience, right? In whatever way the audience is listening. This might be in a big room or beautiful place that you're doing more of a theater kind of style. This is also regarding film, right? Understanding the viewer and really being of service to them. I love that part of it.
Yeah, and it touches me myself so much that, um, yeah, I love to say that you say we serve, and that's so true. And what touches me most, and what I see, like a friend of mine in a discussion from actors that we had said, we're actually becoming better humans.
Yeah.
So what is actually happening is that by constantly going into characters with different Like maybe we play an alcoholic, we play a prostitute, and they do exist. There are more people that drink a lot of alcohol than we might think. There are a lot of, like, yesterday our acting teacher told us that one of his students, like when he was studying acting, there was one woman who was a prostitute to get the money that she needed for acting. So it's probably more common than we might think, these things. And of course, we often play characters that have a big story to tell, or that kind of sucked in their life and have no job right now, and we're kind of bringing that on stage to kind of evoke something in the ones listening in the audience. But we're becoming better humans in a way, or we're getting the experience of someone else. We're like jumping into their lives, and we have to, or we want to know how they feel. We want to know it. We want to desperately experience the thoughts and what they do during the day, and really understand them. It's like really, and the more you understand them, the better you can play them, and the more you can touch someone. And therefore, and that's, I think, is the one other thing, is an actor um, needs to let go of their own personality, and that is a big step too. To say, okay, I'm putting myself back now, even though I don't like to have these thoughts. Maybe that's my ego or whatever. I'm going to have these certain thoughts of that character because it's going to bring me into the situation that the character is in. And maybe that's a shitty situation, so you really don't want to really stay there. But
Mm-hmm.
if you make it to stay there, then probably in a few seconds the audience will start crying, or something will happen with them, and you know why you did it. And it's a sacrifice anyways.
Yes, I love this part. I really feel or kind of understand how it is a sacrifice to really put aside your ego here and play that role, even though it might bring you some emotions that you really don't want to stay in. Yeah, I thank you for saying that and for being so open about it, because I think it's so beautiful. It's such a beautiful metaphor as well for life in itself, right?
Mm.
Um, I'm
Yes, and that's really what I'm teaching. I'm teaching people to be open and not to be too grabby on their personality, and to be okay to let certain patterns go, even if it's just for 2 hours in the workshop. But to, because we want, my teacher said it yesterday, I love it. We are social and we want to connect and we want to even emerge. That's what we want.
yeah,
And we are ready as humans to give up for that certain parts of our personality, or certain parts we are like, "Rah, yeah, but I am not a morning person. Rah." But then I have this life with you, and I'm like, yeah, but I love that, and that's why I'm gonna stand up, or things like that, you know? We want to emerge, actually. This is what we really long for. But
yeah.
somehow, I think Greta Thunberg yesterday had a post, or I saw it from a friend. She said, like, we don't know anymore how to connect. We forgot connection. We forgot what that means. And
Mhm. Yes.
I'm really also an actress because I feel so much more connected since I'm an actress and since I'm acting every day. Um, and since I find the courage every day to open, although it might be sometimes super challenging and hurtful. Um, but it's the only way, I think, right now that I can change something for my surrounding, by being myself, and being more present and being more open, and yeah, also ready to receive.
Yes, that's a beautiful one. Yes, I'm letting this all sink in and thinking of well, I love how you kind of touched Greta Thunberg there, in what she said in her post. I didn't see her post, but I do remember her beautiful, one of her first really media-like expressions on how she really spoke to this certain generations that have not well had did not have the tools or did not have the courage or the know-how to how to connect with themselves, how to heal their own things and be carry their responsibility for it. Um, do you remember this? One of her first talks.
I now that you say it, I thought, oh, there is something, but it's very hidden in my memory.
Oh well, it's fine. I was just pulling it up here, remembering that because you said it. But the beauty is that she had a she was she's she's still young, but she was really young then, and it's just 2 years ago or something like that. And she really made this statement, being really angry
Mm.
towards the generations of our parents.
Yeah. That I remember. I love that also. I love that she, yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, and it's
Um,
so beautiful
I
how
don't
it.
even think, like, I personally don't think that anger, I need to reposition myself a bit. I personally don't think that anger is the only way, but I think anger is a huge part of it.
Mm,
Like, and I think that it's so important that we stand up. We stand up and we raise our voice and we start creating. And anger is a force because it comes from down. It's where like second chakra, where the emotions are, where and the emotions are in the same chakra, whereas it's the chakra also for creation, and that I find very interesting. So if you can release those emotions, anger, sadness, and you can like in that hip area is open, you can start creating. And this is what we need. We need people who have initiatives, who create, who express with their body, with their tongue, with their mouth. um, that's what we need. And still for many people it's blocked. And yeah, I would never blame my parents or the past for it.
mhm.
I don't think personally it makes too much sense, because they've been also suffering a lot and
Yeah.
really trying their best. But I think a lot of things went wrong, yeah. And right now, it's just what I see. The only thing that I see is that right now it's our responsibility. And that's what I see, because I'm alive now and I see my responsibility,
Yeah.
and that more and more. And I hope that everybody can see also their responsibility, or if they don't see it, that there might be people who inspire them to see it, so that we can all stand up and start creating and yeah, and raising our voice and being more powerful and yeah, not hiding anymore.
Yes, beautiful. I think so. It is so true, and I just brought it up the example of Greta for really touching these kind of environmental issues, really, or all that all societies are going through. And I really understand how you say that it's to take the responsibility yourself, to really come back to zero yourself in order to get that connection that all human beings long for, right? And to be able to move into your higher self, as you gave the example just before this, on explaining how to put aside your ego, being willing to serve others, and being willing or able to really get into that 0 point yourself in order to connect and in order to connect with your higher self. As you said, like it really gave me a picture of this bigger version of yourself standing behind you. I thought that was so beautiful.
Yeah, and
Thanks.
it's so playful. Like it's really nothing. I'm just gonna take my phone for a moment and
Okay.
charge it a bit, as
Okay.
I'm about to show you something, you guys.
Yes, we're
So
moving into this
what?
exercise.
Yeah. Um, So I just wanted to say that it's very playful what I'm talking about. It's nothing where when you connect to your higher self, where you feel like I feel really involved. It's never that um you are like stiff and like "Ugh." Just wanted to say that. Felt like or acting in general is super playful. And the more you can let go of that judgment thing happening somewhere there, I think it's just a beautiful experience that makes you feel really involved and in your heart center.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. I'm just going to give you the floor and the space to share what you prepared for us.
Cool.
Today. I will be sitting here and maybe joining if I can. Um, and I'm just really, really curious and happy that you're willing to share this with us. So I'm super grateful. And yes, what are we going to do?
Okay. I need to fix my camera because my charge is low.
Okay.
I just realized that. So let me do that first.
Yeah.
And let me see how I can do it. So you can still see me. Yeah, that is like, it's so cool that we can actually connect and then, oh yeah, it works. That's beautiful. Um, yeah, that's amazing. So let's do something from Chekhov, acting,
Okay.
which begins in sitting. So I invite you to sit, and I'm gonna just be on my knees so you can see me.
All right.
And just throw everything out that you don't need right now, like any kind of thoughts you're having that are not serving the moment, any private things, everything private, just throw it out. Roll it out and close your eyes for a moment. Close your eyes and ask yourself how you feel right now. How you feel without judging it or just like by observing. And then let's bring some awareness in the down body, so in the legs and the feet. And how are they doing? And when you've been there visiting, how is your hip doing? And part of your second chakra, your lower back. And how are the organs in your belly doing? How are the lungs? And how is the chest? And you are very welcome and invited to breathe and do sounds to release, maybe. And how are the bones on your chest? The one that connect also the shoulder blades. Your shoulder blades, the left and the right. Your spine all the way up. The space between your shoulder blades. Your neck. Let's go for a moment to your hands, your thumbs, small finger, the tip of all fingers, bones of the fingers, the wrists, elbows, arms, neck, and then the head, the back of the head. The chin and the jaw. See if you can let go of the jaw a bit. Let go of your tongue. Release the tongue. And how is your nose doing in your mouth? Your eyes. Your eyebrows and your forehead. And now scanning also the skin of the whole head, coming to the crown of your head. And now asking you, what is the force? What is the kind of concentration and presence? And where is it located in your body that you use to bring this awareness to your body? And if you found that force in that spot in your body, like it would be a liquid, catch it, put it on top of your head, on the crown of your head, and let it sink all along your spine, down into your spine, to the feet and the legs down into the earth, so that you can be full of this awareness in your whole body and in your whole system. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes slowly. And you can close your hands for a moment. And with closed hands, you're having like just a blank space. But if you open your hands slowly, and you can look at your hands because your eyes are open, you can see that if you start opening your hands slowly, that there is light coming out of your hands, and out of your fingertips. And then you can close again to feel like, okay, there is nothing right now. And open one more time. Open, spreading the light, maybe even in the room or to yourself. Yeah, beautiful. And then close your chest for a moment. Close your chest and even bring your head down and look out with closed chest, closed heart, and look around your room and see how you perceive your room, looking out like that. Observe what's happening. And then open your chest and open your arms. Straight spine. Open heart and look around. And you can find someone on the screen also. And close again for a moment. Close again. And just your eyes are kind of looking out. And then you open again, you open your chest. And we can see how much actually the posture during the day, and if we have an open wide chest, also makes the experience of how we experience. And then we just start to move the air with like loose arms. It's kind of like if there's anything left that's bothering you, you kind of move it out of the space, but you also put your awareness on how the air touches your skin. You can even use your legs. And go a bit more fiery now, so put more fire into that, moving the air in that space that you are in. And that is already the beginning of being a creator by you affecting, moving the air. And try to be loose in your bones, loose arms, but still awake arms. but really effortless and still fiery. So with intention, with fire. Beautiful. And then calm the stillness. Start stretching yourself like a big morning stretch. And imagine while you're doing that let's say there's like a circle of gods there in the sky, like the Romans had it in the past. And while you're stretching, they are watching you. So you're not just doing it for yourself. And also take a moment for your jaw. Release your jaw. Release your tongue. And shake off your hands for a moment. Really shake your wrists because we're catching a lot of fear in the wrists and also here in the soles of the feet, in the ankles. There's a lot of fear that's actually hitting there. And now for the last, just take whatever bothers you from your body parts and throw it out of the window. So take from anywhere where you feel, ooh, there's a lot of baggage, and throw it out of the window. Ah, beautiful. Two more. All right. And then come to standing. And now we're going to work with the voice again. So we're going to start by saying...
Or not? Should we sit or stand?
You can stand. I'm just coming a little closer.
All right.
And you're going to start by saying, just watch me for a moment. Me. 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 So you can say me or ich or I in your own language if you want. And you're going to say it and you try to mean it. And you can even point at yourself. It might help you. And I want you to listen and to listen to yourself and to listen if it was a good one. If you feel like, yeah, I meant myself, it worked. So try with one and listen. And then try another one.
Okay.
Ich. It's really important that you listen to yourself, to your own voice. Right now I've found it. So let's try to bring now a color into it. So let's bring softness. So let's say ich in German, but say it with softness as a color.
I.
Ich. Yeah.
Me.
And this is almost joy, Feline. Try to be more soft. Like we're trying really the softness of, do you know the feathers? Like the feathers of a bird? Yeah, it's really soft.
I.
That's beautiful. Exactly. So let's go now with anger.
Anger.
Ich.
I.
You can even let's do this. Close the chest a bit, close the heart a bit. Yeah. And let's say, I want to be alone. I want to be alone.
I want to be alone. I want to be alone.
exactly. And feel more into this, like even you can even close more the chest and feel into it. Like how does that feel? That body, yeah, your body right now in this position.
Yes, it really feels alone. It feels alone. It kind of, in a way, it feels safe. Um, there's a piece of my heart that knows this way of closing my heart. So that is a feeling that is safe in the sense of knowing it from before, but it really feels alone because I'm closing myself down, kind of.
Yeah, which is also okay. Like we're trying different colors. So I want to be alone. I want to be alone.
Hmm.
And now you can try this with another posture, leaning back and open arms, and saying the same sentence, like leaning your head a bit back, like you're dreaming a bit, and
Okay.
open arms, and maybe a bit wider stand, and then saying like, I want to be alone.
I want to be alone. I want to be alone.
Exactly. And then you can lean your head a bit to the side and see how that feels. And imagine you're looking to someone like, I want to be alone.
I want to be alone.
And just feeling like, yeah, that's beautiful. And then now you can bring it more to the space. So you have an object, I have a plant here, it's beautiful. So you can, let's take the color, um, let's take the color excited. And let's say you to this object. So I have my plant here and I'm gonna be very excited. And what's really nice to do is when you breathe in before you say it,
Mhm.
you raise your arm behind you to have really this moment of inhaling and taking time. And when you're saying it, you're sending it to the plant. So I can do it once and I breathe in. You, you. So I'm kind of taking it from behind and then sending it.
Wow, loving this exercise.
So
Okay,
for really taking time, just try it. Um,
point at the plants here. Okay.
yeah, cool.
You!
Yeah, and maybe you can put your from the volume because then you can experience more of the color. And
If
this
you.
is like, Feline, this is like how we could go on forever, actually.
Mhm.
Because there's so much to gain and there's so much to research on. And but actually what's happening is that the atmosphere that we create by saying, for example, softness or um, it's like the air around us gets soft and then we speak into this air. That also means that by the way we speak, we can change the atmosphere.
Mhm.
It also means that if we're unconsciously using it, we're creating already a certain atmosphere that we're
Yes.
not conscious about. Um, yeah, and that's really about researching and a lot of listening to what you're saying.
Mhm.
So you can actually feel if it's the right thing, if it's like if it touches you by yourself because you're listening.
Yes.
Um, or if it's kind of sounds the same than the other one or still. So it's also a lot about courage to go into these spaces of softness or of anger and then to immerse yourself there. And that's just also practice. Yeah. But I hope that you got kind of a bit of an impression. And
Well, dear Lisa, I just want to say we got a really, really amazing impression. You gave us such a beautiful exercise here. I just wanted to share, it was amazing to be able to get this morning class from you and that you were willing to share this in our soul life class here. And people were on off and on, but everybody can watch it back at the identity, of course, and clicking it. You can always do these exercises, But what I wanted to say about you and being the beautiful teacher, I think it's amazing. I love your voice. I love the use of your voice. I really felt so comforted with the sound of it. Um, I really thought that it was such a gift to get this. I could hear that you're also a yoga teacher. You know, you
Oh,
really helped me, but I'm sure the listener who will do this exercise later, it really helped really get into your body, feel your feet, and go upwards from there. And it gave such a nice and comfy feeling. I wanted to give that back to you as how I experienced it. It was amazing. And this moving around, it really gets you back into your body, right? It's such a great way to start the day. Really, thank you.
I'm so happy you invited me and you are open to experience that. And yeah, I can just say like it's always um yeah, maybe the last thing is that when I'm in an acting class, I realize that how much how honest I'm to myself, how much awareness in that moment I really bring into my feet when my teacher's saying that. That is my choice. And even if I feel distracted, I have the power to put the attention in my feet,
Yeah.
even if a lot of things are going on, and that changes everything. And this force that we dare discovered there, and we kind of like let flow down the spine,
Mhm.
that is the force that makes you a good actor, that makes you so awake when you're a human. And yeah, then I'm so happy that you could experience that. And thank you so much for inviting me. Have a wonderful day for everyone still watching, and for the ones who clicked in, and for the ones who are watching now.
Or the ones who watch it later. I'm grateful. And I had this last question or kind of thing to round it off. If you'd be willing to share with us when it comes to coming back to zero, today's topic, um, and bringing it back to zero as being a bridge to the topic still. What would be one, a big advice that you would give people that you would think take that with you in your life because it's so important? Maybe something you've learned or this last takeaway. Do you have something like that for us?
Oh yeah, yeah. My life changed completely when I understood what it means to release and to take a pause and to let go
Mm.
of everything by letting it in. And the nicest way that I do it right now at home in my daily practice is really to lay on the floor. Um, really on the floor, on my yoga mat, or even on the floor, and to tell myself, and there's something important comes in, that I tell myself to release everything that's not necessary right now that I'm holding on to. And
Mm.
maybe a lot of yoga teachers might tell you this, but what they don't tell you is that you have the power over it because it's your body. And no matter what happened in the past or will happen in the future, in this present moment, it's your body. And that means you have the power over it. And if you tell your body to release everything that's not necessary, it's going to do it. So the question is more if you have the courage to really say it to yourself
Yeah.
and to go this road along with yourself and to release. And it doesn't need much, you can build it up. You can say it and mean it a little bit, and next day mean it a little bit more. That is the one thing. So having the power over your own body and knowing that, and then releasing and then laying down. And the other thing is really, I swear to God, 2 minutes a day are enough, but it changes everything. If you can have a pause and a laying down and a releasing and doing nothing and turning inwards for 2 minutes a day,
Mm.
it changes everything. And that means everyone can do it. Even if you're busy, no matter what's going on, you can lay down for 2 minutes.
Yes. I love this. Thank you so much, dear, for your gifts today. You gave us so many beautiful gifts and you packed it all in this beautiful, beautiful soul care class with us. And I'm so grateful for you being in my life and for you being with us here. And I wish you a beautiful day and all of the viewers. Thanks so much, dear Lisa. You were amazing.
Thank you for inviting me. I really feel super touched. Yeah. Have a beautiful day.
Bye.
Bye.